Hello viewers, and welcome to the second preview update, much anticipated preview update on the PS4 version of Project Cars. We're going to see just visually how it's developed since the last build, and we've got a lot more preview content to come as the game nears release in mid-May, which is the current date we have. So just a few weeks away now. The build you see running here will have been put together in around February time, so it'll have come a long way even since this version, so there's lots more to come in it. But either way, as you can see here, racing around Monza, it looks absolutely spectacular. And here we see that same video again now, just from the different multicam video, and you can find a link to this at the end of this video and watch the entire race around Monza. Wet weather's improving all the time. You can see the atmosphere, the spray, and again all of this will be running at 60 frames per second on all formats. So you can see the spray around the corner, fantastic. Keeping it all together. And this video is just going to look at some of the different car classes, just look at the performance of the system and where they are in terms of development. There's still bits to do on the game to make it tip-top. Now we're in the Zonda, racing around Zolder, and again, middle of the day, running nice and smoothly. I'm using the controller, hence why you see the wheels a little bit jittery in terms of the wheel input, and that's just down to me using the controller. Obviously at home I'll be using the wheel, and you'll see that on the PC videos. We've got PC videos still to come, lots of those as well. Do enjoy Project Cars immensely. More on this circuit. Do some late braking here. And there was no practice before any of these races you're going to see on this video. It was very much a case of play a race, go on to the next one, next car, next track, race it. So not always time to sort of hone the lap times, as it were, but either way you can see the detail. Fantastic. This was a test now again. Many of you will have seen the roof race I raced on the PC recently. Well, I thought, how does the PlayStation version handle 43 cars? You know, we've talked about how many cars can a race handle. Well, here we are, 43 cars. You can see them loaded around the corner on the map there. And it was just interesting to see how it worked. And it worked perfectly. There were no drops in frame rate. 60 frames was solid, and it worked really well for me. A bit slow in this corner. I think a car up ahead had a mistake and boxed him up a bit, but that's fine. They all spread out now. And now you're just wanting to let the cars string out a little bit, get into a flow, and then take your time in overtaking them. But here we are, 43 cars racing around the track on a console racing game. I think this is the first time we've had this many cars running, whoa, like this on a racing game. We can see there a bit of dodgy overtaking. We've got an AI going across the grass in the bottom corner there. It's all kicking off. Lots of drama. I'm losing a bit of grip myself there. Wheels spinning up. Might have taken a slight knock. And now just trying to get sensible with it. Everybody's jostling this early part of the race to find a bit of track position. Oh, took the wrong time to look across there. I knew there was a car coming past. But again, these multicam views really do give you a good view of the race. Some of these multicam videos will appear on the Facebook page, so you'll be seeing them on there as well, just if there are specific cars you'd like to look at. But it's also been put in terms of the amount of cars. This game focuses very much on car classes rather than a big list of cars to drive, so you can drive in different types of GT racing, you know, open wheel classes. Find a class that suits you, but the real pleasure just comes from the driving, and this is an absolute pleasure to drive this car. It handles really nicely. You can see the suspension moves well. You know, you can really find the speed with it, and it's going to be one of those where I think you find a lap time, but then you're always going to be discovering something new. I also ran an extended 3-lap run on the Le Mans Bugatti circuit, again in the roof because I enjoy it. This was just for personal enjoyment and just really getting a feel. I've got a 3-lap time trial. Again, there's a link to the entire video at the end of this video, so if you'd like to see more of this, do click on that and you'll see this entire race run. In this run it goes from wet to wetter to a little bit dry at the end, and so you'll see as the track surface gets wetter how the grip is affecting the car and how I'm, you know, braking more, missing apexes, going wide. It's really interesting to see how the car behaves. Again, all running very smoothly, so lots of detail there. Skipping around the outside, I'm trying to get on the power. Obviously you get that understeer. Into this slow sort of double apex corner. Nicely on the power. Audio sounds great, really nice audio in the game throughout. Some of the replay effects, fantastic, real step forward there. So it's all coming along for racing fans, and this is just the sort of car that would be a pleasure to drive. Onto Road America and the LMP2 car we see here. Again, multicam view. Replays are nice. Speeding into turn 1. Nice lighting as well, coming through the trees. Getting a little bit wide there, trying to avoid everybody. But again, lots of effects in the game, can be tailored to how you want them. You can set what time of day you want to race. We always have the time of day sped up to some degree on some of these videos, just to show the transition between day and night. You get that nice orangey glow from the setting sun. On the inside. It's really nice to see it from all these angles. The replays as ever, impressive in the bottom corner there. Really nice to see these panning shots showing more of the circuit, and it's something I hope we see more racing games in the future, is more authentic replays. I'm just turning my lights on. I found the lights on button. There's another video where I didn't. Karts at this stage still coming along. AI on karts still needs a bit of work here and there, but it's one of those that's one of the sort of last minute things, as I get completely out of shape there. They're quite tricky to drive, the karts. Jumping out of a big heavy racing car into the karts was tricky, but then I was back onto Formula B, having a race around in the Formula B. I've always enjoyed running in the Formula B. It's been kind of that middle of the road car that feels like a Formula 1 car, but there's really nice dynamic handling to it. You know, it slides, it moves on its suspension, you feel the tyres biting more. It's a really nice car to drive. Replays again just shows sort of authentic feel, and some great audio. Great audio in there as well. It gives that realistic feel. Cars going everywhere, knocking cones. Love the way open wheels being so well represented. This is just an on-board view of what you saw then, but with the multicams at the bottom as well. Slight touch on the car there, but we get away with it. I think I had damage turned off on this. Obviously, if you want to run full simulation where your car disintegrates on the slightest touch or spins out all the time, you can achieve that. Lots of effects can be turned on and off in terms of handling, in terms of visual and time of day, so there's lots to develop and work on. And this is the type of racing that's not been well represented on console, I've said before, but look how good it looks. I mean, you've got the helmet cam running there, which is creating the depth of field effect. Obviously you can turn that off if you want to. You can adjust the movement of the vibration in car and the helmet to suit what you want to see. And we have, of course, the T-cam in the bottom there. So I'm looking for a way around the outside, so I could cut back inside. Wasn't happening for me. On to Formula 1 though. You know, we've gone from karting, you work your way up the ranks, the Formula ranks, all in the game, from Formula Rookie, Formula Ford to Formula Golf to Formula C, Formula B, and eventually Formula A, which we all know what this is. So racing around Silverstone, again, audio and the feeling very nice and visceral. The engines and cars are based on the 2011 season. We've got that great engine sound that we miss from Formula 1 these days. Hopefully a version of it will come back to F1 one day when we get past the engine development phase. And of course a bit of a multicam view of the start here as well. Now again, this was a case of jumping from car to car. Very different braking. So a big accident there, just avoiding that on turn 1. And braking. My braking point was completely off there, so I realised, right, okay, I understand the brakes a bit better now. Getting back on the circuit. And going down the Wellington Straight into the complex of Luffield. You know, it's a great feel to it, and it's every type of racing game. It's sort of the one racing game to end them all, really. I think that's why I look at it, and I think providing they can get the handling right on all the different cars, which has really come along nicely. You know, it's just got to be approachable and get people into it. But we don't always need to dumb it down. Sometimes, you know, simulation is simply more intuitive. The cars do what you expect them to do. They don't surprise you. They don't have a funny handling style to them. I'm slowly getting it together with this car as I work my way around the lap. Obviously, first few corners, you're jumping a new car on a new circuit, hit the brakes, and it's not quite where you expect. Into Stowe. It's really nice to see the wing in the background there. All the feeling of being there. Of course, looking great. Tricky couple of corners there. You need to find braking points for those. Wheels spinning in that final corner and across the line there. And of course, you know, if new Formula 1 cars aren't your thing, then there's the old selection of cars as well, and these go across the classes. There's a wide range of cars from all the different eras here, and we see us in the Lotus 98T in the wet at Donington. Now, this car was a real handful to drive. Again, I was just simply learning the car at this stage. Wasn't able to be competitive with the AI. I let the AI kind of go at the beginning just to give me a bit of space, actually. Race my way round, but we've got the different views here, and you can see when the turbos kick in, the back end really steps out. It's really tricky in these wet conditions when you turn off some of the assists, and you're just sort of trying to be really gentle, and you don't want the power to really kick in until you've straightened the car up, otherwise it will just sort of instantly snap round on you. And braking, but not wanting to brake too much, because if I brake too heavily, the car will just spin out, so you just almost have to come off the power and let it roll around the corner once you've missed the apex in these conditions. This car was not liking these conditions at all. Understeering everywhere. And of course the different audio effects you get from outside the car as well. I'm not one best suited for driving outside the car, but as you can see there, it's a bit tricky for me, so time to change the view, get back in car again where I belong, and race around and learn the circuit. So that's it for this video, looking at Project Cars. Again, just bringing you all up to date on the improvements that are being made throughout the game in terms of visuals, in terms of the cars you can look forward to racing, running on a PlayStation 4. We've got coverage on Xbox One, coverage on PC, and there's going to be more to come from me very soon. But do click on one of these videos, check out the other Project Cars videos we've got, and as ever, there'll be more from me very soon.